Imagine walking into your high school gym one morning and finding a teenage boy trapped, headfirst, inside a rolled-up wrestling mat. A scene so bizarre, so horrific, it splits every version of accident from murder by a single breath. In January 2013, Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old student at Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia, was found dead inside a vertically stacked, rolled-up gym mat in his school's gymnasium. The authorities initially ruled it an accident, but Kendrick's family and many others insisted something far darker had happened. Blunt force trauma, missing organs, multiple autopsies, a federal investigation, yet no one has ever been held criminally responsible. This is the story of the strange, painful questions that remain in Kendrick Johnson's death. In this case, no single perpetrator has ever been officially identified. Instead, what emerges is a web of possibilities: classmates, school officials, system failures, and unanswered leads. What is known about Kendrick's surroundings? A school with motion-activated surveillance cameras, gym mats that were heavy and difficult to move alone, students who reported bullying or altercations, staff with varying accounts. There is no confirmed individual who confessed, no charged suspect. But there are red flags: conflicting autopsy reports, missing evidence, allegations of mishandled investigation, and the persistent belief held by his family that this was not a simple accident. Kendrick Johnson was born October 10, 1995, and grew up in Valdosta. He was a student, a teenager with friends, ambitions, routines. He wore the typical shoes of a high schooler, went to wrestling practice, walked the hallways, moving toward adulthood. He was known to his family as kind, respectful, a young man with hopes and a lifestyle like thousands of others. Friends say he was shy but friendly, someone who valued school, who cared about his image, his shoes, so much that he stored them in the gym mats with others to avoid locker fees. These small details matter. They underline a human being, not a case dossier. Prior to his death, Kendrick reportedly experienced bullying. There was an incident about a year earlier on a school bus, where another student allegedly attacked him. His mother and father say they reported this incident to school officials. They argue the school did not properly respond. There were also questions about the surveillance system. Cameras in the gym but none capturing the moment of his death. Some cameras were motion activated and did not record due to lighting changes. For many, these are not minor omissions. They are warnings that something was off. On January 10, 2013, Kendrick went to school as usual. It was just after the holiday break, and gym mats had been stored vertically, a common practice for that period. Students frequently stored items inside or around the mats, including shoes, because lockers were not always accessible or convenient. Kendrick reportedly had his shoes stored with this group. That afternoon or evening, depending on which version, Kendrick was missing. Classmates couldn't locate him, then finally found his body early on January 11, 2013, inside one of the rolled-up gym mats, headfirst, feet sticking out the top. Overturned shoes, a mat stored nearby, and questions swirling about what exactly had happened in the hours before his death. Because there is no formal crime definitively proved, this section describes what is supported by evidence and testimony, and what remains disputed. Kendrick may have removed his shoes during gym or before practice, or stored them with others. One of the family's arguments states only one shoe was found next to his body. Others were inside or had fallen. To reach the shoes, he or someone else may have climbed into the mats, which were heavy and rolled vertically. The family's pathologist claims he likely became stuck, perhaps turned upside down, unable to free himself. His body may have been placed later, according to lawsuit allegations. The private autopsy requested by his family reported blunt force trauma to the right side of the neck, near the jaw. Hemorrhaging not detected in the original autopsy. Organs were reportedly missing. The body cavity filled with newspaper. These findings contradict the accident ruling. No definitive timeline has been universally accepted. When Kendrick entered the gym, when he became trapped, if he did, when help was sought, or how his body came to be where it was found. Fellow students discovered Kendrick's body on January 11, 2013, inside the rolled mat. The authorities responded. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation (GBI) conducted an autopsy. Their conclusion: positional asphyxia, the idea that Kendrick fell into the mat, got trapped and could not breathe. The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office, based on that autopsy, ruled the death an accident. From the community perspective, this explanation was met with disbelief. Social media, local activism, and family statements questioned why no camera caught the incident, why certain organs were missing, evidence of blunt trauma, and delays in calling the coroner. The public outcry was strong. The first GBI autopsy ruled accidental positional asphyxia. The family's private pathologist, Dr. William Anderson, identified blunt force trauma to Kendrick's neck, hemorrhaging, missing organs, newspaper in body cavity. Emails and surveillance materials were seized. School IT offices, camera footage, though gaps exist. Some cameras failed due to motion activation. Those gaps are points of contention. A $100 million wrongful death lawsuit naming many defendants, including school officials, law enforcement, and even the sons of an FBI agent. The lawsuit alleges a conspiracy to hide what really happened. A federal investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office was opened in late 2013. In 2016, the Department of Justice closed it, stating insufficient evidence for criminal charges. A second local investigation in 2021 to 2022 also concluded no criminal action, calling it a weird accident in statements. Unlike many criminal cases, there has been no credible confession from a suspect. An anonymous email in 2014 claimed a schoolmate had confessed, but investigators deemed that email tip not credible. It was based on second-hand reporting, unverified, and no corroboration was established. No witness has come forward with irrefutable proof of wrongdoing. No one has been charged with homicide. The family's civil suit asserted certain individuals were involved, but that has not translated into criminal accountability. Because no criminal charges were filed, there has been no criminal trial. The civil lawsuits brought by Kendrick's family have been dismissed or stalled in several cases. A judge dismissed the $100 million lawsuit in 2017 for procedural reasons. Federal authorities explicitly declined to bring charges after their investigations. The DOJ in 2016 said they could not meet the burden of proof necessary. So while much has been argued, deposited in lawsuits, and spoken in press, no verdict stands in a criminal court declaring Kendrick Johnson's death to be anything but an accident under law. For Kendrick's family, the unanswered questions have been a wound that never heals. They have pushed for investigations, exhumed the body, pursued private autopsies, and mobilized community support. They argue that what was labeled an accident overlooks clear signs: blunt force trauma, missing organs, discrepancies between physical evidence and official reports. The community remains divided. Many accept the official explanation. Others believe a cover-up, systemic negligence, or worse. Legally, the case is closed. No charges, no convictions. But the legacy, mistrust in authorities, cries for justice, and calls for better oversight in schools, more rigorous forensic standards, transparency in investigations, and respect for grieving families. Kendrick Johnson's story is a tragic reminder that sometimes the most painful truths are masked by accident, unknown, or insufficient evidence. But when a boy disappears in a gym mat, when organs go missing, when standardized procedures are ignored, these are not the faint echoes of chance. They are the whispers of accountability yet demanded. If Kendrick's story moved you, please consider subscribing and sharing this video so more people understand the depth of the questions still unasked. Comment below. What do you think happened to Kendrick Johnson? Do you believe the official rulings? What would justice look like in his case? Let us honor him not just by retelling the mystery, but by demanding insistently that the memory of a young life matters more than anything left unsolved.